that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better hope the guy you don't meet.
Yeah, he's not going to be this, you know, he's your worst, you have to train for the worst scenarios in mind rather than the best, you know. And that's why when people say to me, why do I continue to train? Because a fight's a fight, right? And even if I was 80, it's still going to be the same fight. You know, there's no way you can, I watch sometimes demonstrations of guys performing in, you know, the older guy, the senior citizen who's had 40 years of combative experience, blah, blah, blah. And he's moving around like that's the fight he's going to fight. And everybody's
going along with it.
Going along with it.
Well, because they don't want to hurt him.
Well, not that they don't want to hurt him, but often they don't know how to hurt him. But that's the other thing. But he knows the fight is a fight. And you're going to have to train for it as it is, not as you want it to be. And as I say, that the best representation of that from my experience and observation of all this experience is MMA for unarmed and Filipino knife systems for armed. Because the Filipino systems are culturally that's how you settle disputes. And so that's, I'm not saying you practice MMA, what I'm saying is use that as your representation for your worst possible scenario. Would your defensive move work against that guy? Would you be able to knock him out with your dim muck strike? You know, whatever it is, your specialized strike or whatever. I don't think so. And when you look at, you have to, this idea of replication means that that's why MMA is a good idea, mixed martial arts, not as a sport, but as a philosophy, that you have to be capable of replicating the attacker. And there's no good you making the assumption that you are the attacker when you bear no resemblance to him, and building your defense based upon somebody's conception, what would it be? Personal conception of what a knife attack is without ever having fought with a knife or seen a knife or knowing what a knife works like, or without replicating, say, a Muay Thai round kick. You know, I've come across Chinese guys, a lot of guys who said, this is how I would deal with a Muay Thai round kick. And I say, have you ever fucking been on the end of a fucking Thai round kick? You know? Yeah. Do you think your tiger claw or whatever is going to work on that? But somehow in their minds they believe
it's abstract.
They believe it is.
Yeah.
And they're unable because they're in a specialized system, training in a specialized way, strategically trying to deal with somebody who they really don't know very much about. And they attempt to replicate what he's doing and fail in that replication. And it's because they fail in that replication, they haven't actually addressed the situation. So in other words, if you can't punch and kick like a boxer, Muay Thai fighter, wrestle, do the takedowns at like MMA, ground and pound, then it's academic whether you can deal with them. Because you're not actually replicating it in your training. Yeah. You can't just make the assumption that because you're doing it this way, that it's going to be able to deal with this guy. It ain't. And that's why you need to be an all-round, you need to have this within your gym, or your dojo, whatever it is, an all-round conception of martial arts. How do you use a knife? How do you use stick? How do you kick? How do you punch? In realistic combative ways which are going to apply full power to the target, and not ways which are not going to do that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to train this mindset, to produce these, if we're talking about situations, recreating the situation, we have to accurately recreate the situation. It would be it's irresponsible to leave that as a concept of training a situation.
Wait. Okay.
Trish just said that I'm digressing, is it, a little bit? Which is usually I do anyway. But the thing is that part of arriving, as a natural process, I've arrived at it, this mindset. As a teaching process, to arrive at it, and all the training, all those other things which we've been talking about, those physiological factors and skills or whatever it is, you have to be able to replicate the situation, realistically replicate the situation. And unless you can perform in a multi-dimensional way, or have that representation within your gym, you will not be addressing combat. So you have to be able to do a kick, and that's why there's a challenge in the whole thing. It's not, or have people within your club who are capable of doing that. Otherwise, who are you going to get to practice on? You're not going to do it. And that would be the only make sense of one of the best things of cross training is that you go to other clubs to try that out. Go to a Muay Thai club and see if you can, with your whatever specialization you've got, see if you can deal with him. See if you can block that ranking. See if you can
shoot on him when he's
shoot on him. See if you can do all. If you can't replicate that within your club, that's the best thing, because the basis of all systems is sound defensive offense. So yeah, if you can take shots, deal with shots, that leaves you all the time. It gives you the confidence, and now gives you the time to concentrate on what you've got to do to him. If you can't do that, you haven't got the confidence to deal with an attack of various types. That's part of that mindset.
So what this is coming down to me here on the receiving end of it is that it's all very well to speculate about the emergency mindset and go on about it, but really what's really important is more basic than that.
Yeah.
Is the training based on reality.
We know it exists. Identify those factors which are influential upon that and address them within your training. And and have ways of testing. The environment within the gym must be competitive and hostile, but friendly. There seems to be a contradiction there, but that's where the esprit de corps comes in.
Well, you can see that on the films.
You can see that.
You challenge.
But that's